Hey, what's up, folks? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night 121 from Sydney, Australia, as Fabricio Werdum faces off against Marcin Tybura in the main event there. Just a quick thank you to all the people who support me. Sent me a nice message after YouTube are trying to shut me down. I think we've exchanged emails a little bit, and it's looking quite good. Hopefully I'm going to be sticking around. They're still going to go through majority of my videos, so everything's looking good. So hopefully I'll let you know as soon as something happens where I get the all clear or something's going to happen. I will let you guys know. Please keep on subscribing to all the new people that are watching this here. My goal is to hit 1,500 by the end of the year. I think we've only got 10 or 11 more subscriptions to hit that. So come and support me if you can. Like the video, even if you thumbs down if you disagree with my picks. But let me know in the drop down box and how you're going to go around some of these picks that I'm going to make, and tell me your counter kind of claims of the fighters you're picking as well. But just thank you for the support. You guys are awesome. You really do. You do a lot for me. I really appreciate all the help and the comments every week. And you've been doing it. This year's been a huge year for me. I was looking at the start of the year. I've gained like 800 subscribers. So this year's been a big year for myself. So thank you for all the support. Overall for this card, like what usually happens with these is I usually say, oh, these cards are a little bit weak. Something happens. But these cards always seem to deliver down in Australia. So I'm not going to say it's not the next two cards are really not great looking cards, but it is what it is. These are the cards I did speak on the podcast MMA Huddle, like maybe condensing these cards and maybe not having like cards like these. I know they have to go into new territories and cultivate the talent and stuff, but yeah, it's something that they can maybe do like one less. I think they could have easily crammed these events together with and take the best fights that they could from both there. That's just my opinion on that, but we're going to get straight into it. We're starting down in the heavyweight division. We've got Rashad Coulter against Tuivasa. Interesting fight here. This is going to be a good fight, I think. This is going to start off the night really well. I think somebody's going to go down. This fight's not going to decision. I'll be very, very surprised if it does. Tuivasa, a former rugby player, 5-0, I think, coming out of Australia. He just signed a four-fight contract with the UFC. Very green, though. A very green fighter, but has big power. He's a small heavyweight. He's like 6'1", but he throws heat. Like he really does throw a lot of heat in his strikes. Doesn't have much of a ground game. You can see if he was to go against anyone with any kind of type of wrestling or decent grappling down there, he's going to struggle a lot, and it's probably something he's going to really, as every fight goes on in the UFC, it's probably something he's going to have to really get better at because people will start to target that, I reckon. I think in the clinch he's okay. I think he's got enough power there where he can throw uppercuts and keep Rashad Coulter away. If he gets Rashad back against the cage, then Tuivasa just throws absolute heat. He goes nuts. He throws a lot of big strikes. He's never been out the first round, though, and he's faced a lot of guys who aren't that great. I mean, his last win is over a guy, James McSweeney, who some of you may know. He fought in the UFC a while back, still fights now. Was never the greatest fighter, but it's a win against a guy who's been around for a long time. Rashad Coulter's coming off that great fight with Chase Sherman, where he got himself a fight in the night bonus, but he took a shit ton of damage in that fight. A lot of damage, a lot of leg kicks. He could barely move, but he still kept throwing. He's predominantly a striker, predominantly a boxer, but that's really all he's got. And I think the UFC are bringing Rashad over here to potentially give Tuivasa a win here. If it's a stand-up battle, I just think Tuivasa can mix up a little bit more. I think he can push Coulter against the cage, and I think he can throw a lot of strikes and put Rashad Coulter down. That's where I'm going with this one. I'm going to go into the early second round. I think the first round, I just think it's going to be a slugfest for these two. I think eventually it's going to be a little bit, to start off it might be a little bit slow, but then eventually they're going to start throwing. And I think that Tuivasa has just got a little bit more power. I think a little bit more versatility. He is still a very green fighter, and I'm never sure with these guys when they come into the UFC, but I think the UFC are maybe setting this guy up for a win here. Heavyweight fight could go either way, so I'm going to go Tuivasa to get the night started well for the Aussies down there. So Tuivasa, very early second round TKO victory there. Flyweight division, we have Jenel Lausa against Eric Shelton. literally looked at the odds in this fight, and Eric Shelton's a -400 favourite. I think that line's just a little bit too rich for my blood especially, but it's a little bit too high. I do think he's coming off a couple of really close fights and all seriousness against good guys. Jared Brooks, he could have easily got that decision victory at UFC 214. And the fight with Alexander Pantoja, I thought it was close, but I did think Pantoja won that fight. Just a solid all-round fighter, but he's not... He can be beaten. I really do, but I think this is a matchup he can win. I think that Jenel Lausa predominantly is a boxer. He's got some really decent combinations. He's coming off a devastating loss to Magomed Bibulatov, where he just got really thrown around and beat up a little bit. Excuse me. But I think Shelton's a little bit more well-versed. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. But I think he's still going to fight this fight really close. So I've seen some people online that have bet Eric Shelton -400. I think it's just crazy to bet on a guy like that, especially at that price. It should be lower. If it was below, maybe -300 or a little bit below, I think you could definitely parlay him up. But I just don't see it -400 for what could ultimately be a close fight, because Jenel Lausa is backed against the wall. Both guys are back against the wall here. Whoever loses, I think, is going to get the pink slip and they're going to be gone here. I'm going to pick Eric Shelton, but I think it's going to be a close fight. I'm going to go decision victory there against Jenel Lausa, but I can see Lausa getting off some nice combinations in Shelton, and maybe Shelton mixing it in with some takedowns, because I think that is what Lausa's Achilles heel is, that he can be taken down. And we have seen that Shelton is decent. He's on the tough show. He was decent in transition. He got back up off the ground. He had some takedowns against the fence. So I'm going to go Eric Shelton. I'm going to go via decision. Women's strawweight division. Alex Chambers against the debut in Nadia Kassem. This is horrible. This is a fight that I'm not going to spend too much time really speaking on. Nadia Kassem's a newcomer here. She's 4-0. There's not a hell of a lot of tape out there, but the people she's against is terrible. They're really not good at all. But you can only beat who's in front of you, and she's literally blitzed them all in the first round. And spinning back fist, she caught a girl with pink hair and put her down, and then just unloaded with shots there. So pretty much she's a striker, so we don't really know what a ground game is. There's not much out there regarding a ground game. That's where Alex Chambers, I think, will have an advantage if she gets it there. Alex Chambers, we've not seen her in a couple of years, nearly 2, I think it's over 2 years, in fact, since she last lost to Paige Van Zandt. She was on the Tough Show, but she's really old for a woman fighting in the UFC. She's 40, coming 40 years of age, and I think she can be beaten. I really do. And I'm not confident in picking Alex Chambers in this spot. I'm really not. I think Kassem, if she has the advantage on the feet, I think she can use it. I think she can stay on the feet longer. She can stay on the feet and really put it on Alex Chambers. If Alex Chambers can somehow get a clinch, get her to the ground, I think she could win the fight from there. But I am just not confident in picking Alex Chambers. And I don't know, this girl that's come in is she's not faced anybody of any level whatsoever. This is as big a fight as she's had. But Alex Chambers, I don't rate all that highly, if I'm being honest with you. And I think she can be taken out. I think that it's hard to say because we haven't really seen that much of Kassem. So I think she can break Alex Chambers. And I think as long as she fights smart against her, like Kylan Curran fought really stupidly, was up 2 rounds and then jumped into her guard and got submitted. If Kassem can just beat her on the feet and just don't go to the ground, I think she wins this fight. So I'm going to stop her. Actually, I think in round number 3, she could have the potential to stop her. I'm going to go a decision victory for Nadia Kassem there. Just don't think Alex Chambers that good, and I think she'll be on her way out after this fight there. So moving on, welterweight division, Damien Brown against Frank Camacho. This is the fight I think could be very good. I think it could be an all-action kind of fight, because you go back and watch Frank Camacho before he was in the UFC and even his UFC debut. He is very fun. He's very exciting to watch. Throws a lot of power, throws a lot of volume, and just looks to take your chin off. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. Damien Brown is coming off that loss away back to Vince Pichel, where he started off okay, but Vince Pichel just unloaded some shots on him. And I think that is something that he can do against Damien Brown. I think his chin can be got at. his 2 wins in the UFC over John Tuck, which I think is a good win. And Cesar Aramendia was a win via TKO in the first round at UFC 201 in Georgia. So how do I see this fight going? Frank Camacho. I like Frank Camacho. I did. I was a little bit surprised when he was a little bit of the favourite. I thought this might be a kind of pick'em, kind of odds fight. Camacho, like I was saying, he does gas out a little bit, but even though he gasses out, his power really stays through the 15 minutes because he just throws ultimate heat. Like he throws a lot of volume and a lot of power, and he can put you down at any chance. So I think that he could put Damien Brown down early as well. I think you could catch him with a shot. Damien Brown, I think, has to try and just overall be the better fighter in every facet. So try and be versatile on the feet, move into the clinch, and try and look for takedowns. I don't think he'll keep Camacho down there, but I think he can get takedowns on him. I just think Frank Camacho's going to catch him with a shot. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go a first round knockout for Frank Camacho, Frank the Tank. It's just one that I think that he can catch the chin of Damien Brown and put him down. It's a big fight for Damien Brown. If he wins this, he's 2-3 in the UFC. Might not get another chance. He might get another chance considering they've got another card in Australia in February coming up. So if he was to win this one, I fully expect him to be in that card. I'm just more confident picking Frank Camacho in this spot, and I think he will do it via TKO in round number 1. He'll catch that chin and put him down. So that's my pick there. Heavyweight division, Anthony Hamilton against Adam Wieczorek. This fight got moved from Poland. Adam Wieczorek is a support of Rush Kroslow, which is a Gdansk rival team. And at the weigh-ins, they weighed in the morning, went to the ceremonial weigh-ins, and there was 100 to 150 supporters of this rival football team that came in looking for Wieczorek and ready to do some damage to him. So that shows you how crazy those Polish ultras in Poland are regarding football. It's crazy. And then the fight literally got moved to the other end of the earth, pretty much, and taken to Australia. I'm not really going into too much. I picked Wieczorek last time out. I think he still wins the fight. Nothing changes from the Gdansk fight when he was meant to fight there a few weeks back. I just think that Anthony Hamilton's done. He has a chin that if the slightest touch and the guy goes down. Wieczorek has a submission jiu-jitsu advantage down there as well. He needs to be careful that Hamilton can't get takedowns and be heavy on him and lie on him, because he can do that. But I just think that Wieczorek has to be the pick here. It's hard to pick Anthony Hamilton in any capacity now. DraftKings, on the other hand, is somewhere I'll maybe go looking for Anthony Hamilton, because heavyweights, Wieczorek could shit the bed. But I cannot pick Anthony Hamilton, even though Wieczorek I don't think is overly that great. But he's shown in his fights that he's tough. He can take a shot. He can stick around, and got it out for 15 minutes as well. So I'm going to pick Adam Wieczorek via TKO in round number 1. If not, maybe it's TKO or sub in round number 1. I don't see it going. I'd be surprised if it went to late round 2, early round 3. So I'm going to go round 1 TKO for Adam Wieczorek there. Another fight that's kind of got moved from a card onto this one was Will Brooks against Nick Lentz. I think this was supposed to take place at UFC 216. Nick Lentz had struggles with the weight cut, and I don't understand why the UFC put this fight together again. I don't understand why they put the fight at lightweight. I know Will Brooks is a lightweight, but Nick Lentz clearly can't make that weight, and he's killing himself and hurting himself to make this weight. And then he's flying the other side of the world, and he's got to do it all again in a month, 6 weeks notice, in that time frame again. So it's a crazy thing what Nick Lentz is doing to his body. I think he honestly needs to walk away from the sport. I think that when you do that amount of damage to your body, and you get ill every time you attempt to cut weight, or just hurting your body, hurting your kind of future as well. I don't like that one bit here. I think Will Brooks is the better fighter, in all honesty. Nick Lentz is scrappy, but I think anywhere this fight goes, Will Brooks, I honestly don't think Nick Lentz will make weight either. I think this will be a fight, it'll end up being a catch weight fight, 160, 165 in that region. And Will Brooks, I think, can garner takedowns. He has the better gas tank. both guys really aren't great strikers, more kind of better grapplers. I just think Will Brooks is going to have more in the tank. I think he's just the better fighter right now. Even I think if I was to go back a year, 2 years, I think he could beat Nick Lentz then as well. Like I said, Lentz is scrappy. If he makes the weight and he looks good, he can make it competitive. I'm not going to pick the guy. Honestly don't think he'll make the weight. I'll be very surprised if he does. Will Brooks is going to be the pick there. I don't think Will Brooks is overly that great either. This is a big win. It needs to be a big win for him here to kind of get him back on the straight and narrow again. Will Brooks, TKO. Yeah, I'll go Will Brooks TKO early round number 3. If the fight even happens, I'm just not sure it's going to even happen again. Flyweight division, we have Ryan Benoit against Ashkan Moktarian. I don't think Moktarian looked great in his UFC debut, in all honesty. I know he was against a guy in John Moraga who's been around a long time. He's a veteran of the sport. He fought for a title. We've seen that he derailed the hype train of Magomed Biblatov last time out, which might give him the confidence to run forward and put himself back up that flyweight division again. But Moktarian showed me nothing in that fight to convince me that he's even a UFC fighter. I don't see it. Even the fights beforehand, I know his flyweight debut, he head kicked that guy who I think had a losing record. A lot of the guys he's faced have losing records. I just don't think he's that good. I really do think that Ryan Benoit is levels above this guy, but Ryan Benoit has a case of really fighting to guys' levels sometimes and lowering his level. Like the Serrano fight, I thought he was clearly a better fighter, but he just fought down at the level of Serrano a little bit. Benoit, I mean, he has really big power. He puts some nice combinations together. He's usually a really kind of gritty guy as well, but he got taken out. I think the last time he was down here was against Benoit, in Australia, and he got taken out in the first round with strikes. No strikes, he got hit with strikes and then he got submitted. And then he went on to face Serrano, and it was a sloppy fight. And then he lost to Brandon Moreno, where I thought he gave a good account of himself. If he fights to his potential here, I think he easily beats Ashkan Moktarian. Moktarian, in my opinion, should not be in the UFC. But I'm not going to pick Moktarian in this spot here. I'd be very surprised if he beat Ryan Benoit in this one here. I think that Benoit can hurt him on the feet and just really put a beating on him for the majority of this fight. So Ryan Benoit, decision victory there. Moving on to the main card on Fox Sports 1, we have in the featherweight division with Alexander Volkanovski against Shane Young. This was supposed to be Jeremy Kennedy, I think it was, and that was a fight, actually one of the couple of fights I was looking forward to. He pulled out, and then Shane Young, literally at the weekend there, got pulled in. What I've seen of Shane Young, decent all-around kind of pro. I think he's very slow. I think that he will get eaten up by the speed of Volkanovski here, the hand speed of Volkanovski. I think he's going to come forward and he's just going to eat shots off Volkanovski. Volkanovski is a guy that I think within the next 12 months, guys are going to really see who this young man is. That they're not really going to want to fight him. I think every fight he's looked better, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. He's one of the guys on this card I'm really looking forward to. Beat Yusuke Kasuya in his debut via TKO, and then he put a hurting on Mizuta Hirota in his last fight down in New Zealand. I thought it was a great performance in that one. Really could have got the stoppage. I think he dropped Hirota a couple of times. Fast hands, really nice double leg, nice grappling. Just a really good fighter, a really solid up-and-coming fighter. So I think he's going to be far too much for Shane Young here. As I say, I think Young's too slow. Volkanovski's very quick and just levels above. This is a short notice guy that's coming in here that I think is just going to get eaten alive by Alexander Volkanovski. So Volkanovski is also going to be one of the most confident picks, but he is a huge favourite, and rightly so, for that. Middleweight division, Elias Theodorou against Dan Kelly. I think this fight will end up being close because Elias always fights close, and Dan Kelly is always a tough guy to face down at home. Elias doesn't have the power. You need to have big power to put Dan Kelly out. If you keep the fight close, he has every opportunity to win this fight. And it's at that point now, it is Dan Kelly. He beat Rashad Evans, which is a nice name to have on your record. Then he faced Derek Brunson, who was clearly levels above him, and knocked him out in the first round there. You look at the people, the one kind of win that stands out for Dan Kelly is Antonio Carlos Jr. I think he was getting dominated early in that one, but then he came into the fight and then took him out via strikes, which I think is going to be a great win on his record. When he walks away and he looks at that one, because I think Antonio Carlos Jr. is a good fighter. But to say, when he moved to that next level against Derek Brunson, who's probably a top 5 middleweight, he got exposed as being very slow, and obviously Brunson being very quick. Theodorou, although he's one of the most boring fighters in the entire UFC roster, in my opinion, he's a point fighter. He knows what to do to win rounds. He's not going to take down, I very much doubt he's going to take down Dan Kelly. I think he's going to try and fight long, try and be light on his feet. We know what Dan Kelly's going to do, just try and kind of pop forward with that left leg and try and hit him with strikes, maybe get trips if he can. I don't think he will. And if he does, I think that Theodorou will get back to his feet. I really want to pick Dan Kelly here. Like, I really want to pick him because I don't think Theodorou is that great of a fighter, and I really want Dan Kelly to win, but I can't. I think that the head's overruling the heart here, and I have to pick Elias Theodorou to win this fight here. So I'm going to pick Theodorou. I'm going to pick him via a 29-28 decision. I see Dan at least getting one round in there, and yeah, Elias for the win there, unfortunately. Jake Matthews against Bojan Velickovic is up next. A really interesting betting line in this one. I thought potentially, I thought that Bojan would be the favourite with Jake being the slight dog, but it was the other way around. And Bojan was like a plus 140 dog, which really surprised me. Jake Matthews is a really young guy. I think he's only 21 years old, if I'm right. Let me see, 23 actually. So he's still a young kid. He's been around for a few years. Faced some really decent guys when he fought down at 155. I mean, James Vick's a top 15 lightweight now, and so he should be, rightly so. Maybe even a top 10 guy. And fought all right. He started off well on that one, and then he got caught with a shot, and then just the length and the variance of James Vick with his submissions, that guillotine choke, just like the standing guillotine choke as it was. I think that's what if I remember right. He put that on him there. Wins over at Bariola, where he took his licks in that one as well. The Johnny Case fight, he took his licks in that one as well, and then won late in the third round. Was put in there with Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee ran through him, and then lost a very contentious split decision to Andrew Holbrook a year ago now, it would be. So, and the one thing that I think that Jake Matthews really needs to do, he really needs to go. I know he went to Jackson Winklejohn for a while. I don't think he'd went for this camp, but he's training out of Australia now. There's not much there, and you can be a world champion coming from there. I mean, Robert Whittaker's did it, but Robert Whittaker's been around for the longest time. He's fought tough guys. He's went to TriStar, and he's went around. He spent vast amounts of time at TriStar as well. So he needs to stop. I think he just has to get out of Australia and try and go to a camp where he will put everything into this camp where he knows nobody, and he's just going to focus everything on his fight career. And I just don't like that. I think, and the fact that Bojan is a tough guy as well. He's one of these guys that I think will always win one, lose one, look good at times and look very, very bad at times. Solid pro. I think he'll just try and it's going to be close, this fight. I either see Jake Matthews coming out here and rushing at Bojan and hurting him and maybe taking him out, or just being a back and forward, very close fight. And if that's the case, I edge it towards Bojan Velickovic. So I think you see where I'm going to go with this one. I actually like Jake Matthews. This guy actually spoke to a little bit when he was scheduled to fight in Scotland, and then he got pulled from the fight because he got injured. But Bojan, for me, has to be the pick here. Very, very close, though. I think this is going to be like the Holbrook fight, where he's just going to fight close, and Bojan's going to do enough to eke out a very, very close split decision down Australia. So Bojan's going to be the pick there. Best fight in the card, in my opinion, Tim Means against Belal Muhammed. Yeah, really, really good fight. This should be really the co-main event. I know Bet Rawlings and that's up there, but this should be the co-main. But it's not. It doesn't matter where it is. It's just one fight behind. But good fight. Tim Means is always a savage. I mean, the dirty bird, he's always in there. Extremely long, very versatile, and very, very dangerous at any point. He can catch an elbow, he can catch a knee, and put his opponent down. Belal Muhammad's a guy I really like, but I just think this matchup is I think the line on this, like the odds in this fight, are a little bit off. I really do agree with that. Like he's plus, I think he was plus 210 or plus 220 actually seen for Belal Muhammad. So I think that's off. He should be less than that. Tim Means, like I said, savage fighter, and he's coming off that loss to Cowboy Oliveira, where he literally was going to win that fight in Vegas, and then, in fact, the Alex Garcia fight, I totally forgot about that when he fought back in June. He fought a kind of lackluster decision with Alex Garcia, but when he puts it all together, he's a very dangerous fighter, and extremely long. If he clinches you up against the cage, you're in trouble. I think good wrestlers and grapplers are the kind of that's what you need to really beat Tim Means. If you have decent grappling, you can stop him throwing those nasty elbows and knees and so on. I just don't think Belal Muhammad's going to get him down, and I think that Belal's been hit with shots, obviously by Vicente Luque, that put him down. Shorter guy, so he's going to have to really reach up and try and find the chin of Tim Means, not unless he really attacks the body. And then if he's focusing on the body too much, then I need to come up and catch him straight up the middle. So that's something that he has to be very careful with. But he is extremely tough, and I don't see him getting put down in all honesty. I think it's a good matchup for Tim Means. I've got a little bit of trepidation kind of going with him after that Alex Garcia fight down in Brazil where he got submitted in the second round, but for all intents and purposes he was injured in that fight as well. So the pick's going to be Tim Means. I think he's going to win the decision. I think if both guys had the opportunity to finish fight, I think that I would edge him more than I would Belal Muhammad. But I think Belal's, if you want to take the shot in this guy, I don't think it's a bad bet in all honesty to take, especially where the odds are at the minute, take a shot in this guy. So I'm going to pick Tim Means via a decision here. Could be 30-27, could be 29-28, but Tim Means is going to be the pick there. Beck Rawlings against Jessy Rose Clark is next up here. This was supposed to be Jojo, and I think you'll probably know where I was going to go with that fight. This one, I think it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be a great fight. I think that Beck's going to be the bigger girl. I think she's got a few inches in reach. She's going to be the taller fighter as well. She's fought more legit girls than what Jessy Rose Clark was. Jessy Rose was supposed to fight Invicta, I think with Vanessa Portal or someone like that, coming up very soon, and that she got pulled to come into this one here. I think she's live. I think every fight that Beck Rawlings is in, her opponent is definitely live and can win a fight. I thought Cihu Ham beat her. She has a very scrappy fighter. She's kind of nose to her chest and look to make it dirty and grimy. But I do think that Jessy Rose Clark, in all honesty, is live here. Like the fact for Beck Rawlings here that she's fighting at 125, so the weight cut's not going to be nowhere near as bad as going down to 115, which will give her more energy, which will be better for her body, for her mind, going into this fight. But Beck Rawlings should never be a lock against anybody, in my opinion. But I do think, I really want to pick Rose Clark here. It's another one of these head over heart ones, because I want to pick Jessy Rose Clark, but she's not faced opposition really what Beck has. I mean, Tisha Torres is a top 5 girl in the 115 division, and I mean, her losses, Mizuki Inoue is a fighter I actually really like. Heather Jo Clark is not a great fighter, but her 2 wins, Lisa Ellis, she was well out the door then, and Cihu Ham was a fight I thought she actually lost. I'm going to pick Rawlings. I want Rose Clark to win. I'm going to pick I don't think she'll stop Rose Clark unless she gets on her back and submits her through that. But I'm going to go Beck Rawlings via decision. And moving on to the main event of the night, we have Fabricio Werdum, one of the best heavyweights of all time, coming in here again after fighting last month against Walt Harris, who came in like 3 hours' notice after Derek Lewis pulled out, against Marcin Tybura. So I'm going to come out straight away and say I'm picking Fabricio Werdum. Nothing I see regarding this matchup. Anywhere this fight goes, I think that Werdum has the advantage kind of everywhere. I think Tybura, his kicking game's better. That's maybe the only advantage I give to him. But I mean, he's only got that one big Hail Mary kick against Victor Pesta, that was a beautiful knockout, in all honesty. The guy's a point fighter, and he gasses bad. I think he's solid. I do think he's a solid heavyweight, but levels. There's levels to the fight game, and I think that Fabricio Werdum, if he turns up mentally strong here and in a good capacity, he should get through Marcin Tybura very, very easily. I think this could be a good payday for him. If he gets him to the ground, Tybura, he has got back to his feet against lesser opposition, but Werdum is elite grappling, especially with the BJJ side. And you've seen with the Walt Harris where he just he gives you opportunities to move your body, and then he will latch on something like that, and it's good night, Irene. I just think that Fabricio is a solid lock in this one. Eventually, Tybura is going to slow down. People have said, I've seen people saying that Werdum's reckless. He did it once against Stipe Miocic, and that was really bad because you don't rush in against a good combination puncher like Stipe Miocic, a good boxer like Stipe Miocic. So that being said, I think on the feet, he can rough up Tybura a little bit. On the ground, he's got clear advantages down there. I think eventually he'll put a little bit of a beating up against the cage. We'll find a takedown, and then from there, I think he'll find a submission. So I'm going to go with third round submission for Fabricio. So that's my picks here for UFC Fight Night 121 from down in good old Australia. Next week, the UFC make their first appearance in mainland China, as this was supposed to be Anderson Silva against Kelvin Gastelum. And Michael Bisping's coming in here, which I'm not the biggest fan of, considering he got dropped and submitted less than 2 weeks ago against a smaller guy. But it's just the fact that he got dropped and choked out, and then he's coming in here a couple of weeks later to fight again. Now, I know the guy's probably getting a big payday for it, which is fair enough. He's at the end of his career. He's probably going to take every opportunity he can. But yeah, big surprise when Bisping stepped in here. So looking forward to kind of talking about that card. I've watched some of the fights already. A lot of newcomers, which is always nice seeing them. A lot of guys that aren't that great, in all honesty, that what I've seen so far. But nonetheless, I will be here to break down that next week. UFC Fight Night 122, and then we're on to like a bumper edition of fights in December. We've got two early, two pay-per-views as well, and we've got a beauty of a Fox card towards the end of the year as well. So as always, guys, thank you very much for the support. Thank you for watching. Let me know your picks and your comments and who you think is going to win this week, and enjoy the fights when they come round this weekend. All the best. Take care and speak to you soon.